Hello, everyone. Welcome. Q&A Sundays. How you doing? Hopefully everybody get the alert. Actually, let me go post this alert because I know I didn't do anything here. So I am going to post inside of just to make sure everybody gets alerts. So I'm going to give, no, that's not it. What's going on here? Let's refresh. Very slow, very slow. Okay, there we go. Get shareable link. Boom. All right. What's up, Aaron? What's going on? Hello, hello. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. Yes, you are. Welcome, man. That means you're getting alerts. And that's a good thing. Hopefully everybody else is too. We're going to get started in about 1.5 minutes. I don't know. 3 minute mark, 4 minute mark. It counts how many people are come up in here. So what's up, Cosmic? Finally able to catch the live stream from the beginning. Exactly. What's up, Andre? What's going on? What's up, Mike? I know Cosmic been busy. You've been busy. When you vanish like that, I'm like, okay, she out there doing something. She ain't just sitting at home watching TV. Hope you members only caught that video I put in there this morning, early this morning. I hope you guys caught it, the members only. What's up, Mike? Get on in here. About 45 more seconds. We're going to get started, introduce myself, and then we're going to get into the purpose of Q&A Sundays. Okay, so excuse me. I hope that Yardy don't time me out. I'm not sure what Yardy is. Yeah, I know it's all good. I'm sure it's all good. But I'm glad you could join. Nothing like having you in the room, especially when real estate questions come up. I'd be like, you can ask her. All right. Welcome. For those of you that do not know me, first of all, welcome to the SMD Savings Minus Debt channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. I'm your host, LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in credit and debt, financing everything that goes down in value, and wonder why they're living paycheck to paycheck. I just can't figure it out. Keep financing cars and phones and just cannot figure it out. Anyway, I lived there for the first 40 years of my life till I woke up. Found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, use math against your finances. Then I became free. I had never experienced such freedom, and that type of this type of freedom is very it's a very undescribable feeling of freedom, right? Now I realize I was a slave for many years until I became free. Now that I experience this, I can't help but help other people feel the same freedom. And that's just my goal. And my personal goal is now that I'm free, now I realize that time is the most valuable thing on earth. It's not money, it's time, right? That it's pretty obvious. I'm gonna be dead one day, so duh, Linnell, that's time, right? Once I realized that, now my only goal is to own the majority of it, right? And now I pretty much own all of it except 1%, but we'll get in that later. But when I was in a debt matrix, I didn't realize that my employer owned the majority of the time in my life by having a job, right? That's obvious. Like if you have a job, your employer owns the majority of the time in your life. So now that I understand that time is the goal, my only goal is to own 100% of the time in my life. That's my goal. A lot of people don't understand what that means. They think you got to, are you trying to be rich or what do you know? You don't have to be rich to own the time of your life. That's an illusion. Anyway, that's what I do to help people. And how I do that is I identify what I call the glitches in the debt matrix. And the glitches in the debt matrix are things that don't make mathematical sense, but yet people continue to do them. Call themselves homeowners with 30-year mortgages, financing cell phones, believe you got a car on sale, even though you financed it for 84 months, stuff like that, right? So, and even showing with mathematics that money doesn't even exist, like gold, silver, paper, the euro, whatever you deem you call currency, it doesn't exist. The only value it holds, it counts on who's actually holding it. All right. Like if you're in credit card debt and I hand you a 20, the 20 doesn't exist. But if you hand that 20 back to me, it exists. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's how I help people out, identify the glitches and mathematically. And all you have to do, if you want to escape the debt matrix, all you got to do is just believe mathematics. That's it. And then once you believe mathematics, now you're free, right? Because it starts here. It starts mentally first. First, you got to become mentally free, and then you can become physically free. But you got to know you're in debt here, right? And what SMD does, what we do is Savings Minus Debt Family, because we are a family. Savings Minus Debt Family helps people become financially free by letting them see that they're not, right? People don't even know that they're slaves, right? So we show them mathematically, and all they got to do is just believe what the numbers that they punch in their own calculator with their own hand. I know it sounds crazy, but all you got to do is believe your own math. Believe the numbers that you punch in your own calculator app. That's all you got to do is believe it. That's it. That's totally it. Okay. Hey, what's up, Hyphy? What's going on? Appreciate you. Okay. Okay. There's something going on with it. Okay. I'm not even going to get into that. All right. Anyway, today is the day that you can ask any personal finance questions of me. If you want to be free, if you want to know what a slave is, maybe you want to know if you're a slave, whatever, but all answers will come to you. I will give you all the answers mathematically, right? So that means if my math is right and it matches your math, that means I'm right. Okay. Anything outside of math, that's your feelings. And this is what it sounds like when you add your feelings to your money. It's like me asking you, hey, how do you feel about 1 + 1 = 2? How does that make you feel? And now the average person would look at me like, that's weird. Why would I feel anything about 1 + 1 = 2? Exactly. That's exactly how you feel about your money. It doesn't matter how you feel. So if you have a 30-year mortgage on a house and you're making monthly payments and you're calling yourself a homeowner, that's only how you feel. Okay. You feel like you're a homeowner. You're not a homeowner because you know it's not mathematically true. So if it's not mathematically true, that means it's not true. Okay. So if you're still calling yourself, or hell, if you even believe you are, like if you have a subprime mortgage, no mortgage in the world makes anybody a homeowner. But if you have a subprime mortgage and you feel like you're a homeowner, you have no idea how far you are away from being an actual homeowner. 9 times out of 10, you won't be one. Why? Because you accepted a subprime mortgage. That tells me everything I need to know. If you have a subprime mortgage, that tells me everything I need to know about your finances, because only a slave would sign on the dotted line for a subprime mortgage. There's prime mortgage, and then there's subprime. That means slaves. Okay. So if you want to get out of this loop, if you want more information, I'm your man. SMD, where you got real estate, it doesn't even matter, man. We got people in here that can answer those questions, but they're going to be answering it from a debt-free perspective. Okay. Now here's the link. If you can ask your question inside the comment area, or you can jump online. You don't have to get on camera. You can just jump in at any time and turn your camera off and ask me the question. Hell, you might not even like what I'm saying. Maybe you just want to get up and say, hey, LJ, you're wrong. Come on, man. Come on up here. I swear I don't really get much I don't get much resistance, man. You know how you go on social media and you post stuff? I post stuff, people they don't really say, "Hey, F you, LJ, you're wrong." I don't get that kind of stuff. Okay? Yeah, there's the link right there, L Marshall. I didn't see your question. There you go. It's there, and it's in the details of the this video. Okay, the Discord link. So today is about you guys. All right. So in the meantime, I'm gonna be yip yapping about some things, and you guys can jump in and ask me a question, or you might want to come up here and say something, whatever. Right. But I was thinking about the rat race, right? And how I used to how I remember hearing it when I was in debt, right? I would always hear people say things like, "Hey man, get out the rat race. You want to, rat race." You always hear this, but you don't really understand it, right? So when I used to hear that when I was in debt, I knew I was the rat. Okay, because I was always in debt and I didn't know how to get out. So I knew when they talked about the rat race and showed the example of a rat running the wheel, I knew I was the rat. This is the only thing I didn't see. What did the wheel represent? And how was it powered? Okay, you can clearly see the rat is powering the wheel. Okay, there's no electricity, there's no engine somewhere, there's no little motor. The rat is powering the wheel. So if I'm the rat, I'm obviously powering this wheel. That's me. But what does the wheel represent? Right? Nobody told me that. What's the wheel? I physically see the wheel, but it's a representation of me. You know what the wheel is? Me financing shit over and over again, financing cars over. So watch this. Keep financing cars. See that? Keep financing phones. See that? Keep financing furniture. Keep financing houses. Keep financing shoes, PlayStations, washer and dryers, furniture. That's the wheel. I was making the wheel personally. So I'm the rat powering the wheel that I created. It's crazy. Okay, cool. Leroy says, LJ, what are your thoughts on someone who has a job and wants to start a business on the side, a low capital business? The first thing I say is this, Leroy, make sure the business of you is in business first. You personally must be out of debt first before you start a business. I promise you. If you do this first before starting a side business, your mindset for the side business will be totally different. Make sure you are out. The business of you is in business first, because I promise you. Now, this is my opinion. Okay. This part I'm going to tell you, Leroy, this is my opinion. Half the people that probably more than half the people go get business loans while they're in personal debt. Okay. And so the first thing the bank is going to do is run the person's personal credit report first. Why would they do that? They want to see how they handle their own finances first. By the bank looking at their personal finance. Now, this is just my opinion. Okay. Don't take this, but it just makes total sense to me. By looking at a person's personal finances first, they know exactly what type of loan, what type of business loan to give that person. It's hand in glove. It goes, oh, okay. Oh, they got 15-year-old student loans. Oh, okay, cool. They got collections. They ain't paying people back. Okay, I know exactly what type of loan I'm gonna give that person. And if you and you don't believe me, this is all you got to do. If you still don't believe me, like, oh no, that's not true. This is what I want you to do. The people that do go get business loans while they're in personal debt. Okay, when you go to the bank and apply for a business loan, right? When they say, hey, you qualify for this one. Okay, the first question I want you to ask them is this: hey, bank, is that the best one? The absolute best, is that the absolute best business loan you have to offer me? Is that the best one? I guarantee you they tell you no. because nobody asks those kind of questions. They're just happy to get any kind of loan. They're just slaves are just happy to be approved. They're crossing their fingers hoping to get to debt. When you're not in debt, you're not crossing your fingers and hoping you get debt. You don't even want to get it. But when it comes to business, you just have to. It's different than personal, right? You don't even have to. So if you're going to get a business loan, you're going to only accept the best one on the market and nothing less. Nothing. But when they look at your personal credit report, it will show what they're going to offer you and what you're going to accept. What's up, Quentin? What's up, Yellow J? Hail, JSBs. Expected 19 days until I am no longer a loan owner. Closing plan 11/6 for sale. Oh, man. He is excited, and I get it. I get it, Yellow J. Too bad you only can tell us. Too bad you could only say it to us. We're the only people who are going to be happy for you. Gabriel says, what's your first advice to get out the rat race? First, know you're in it. First, you got to know you're in the rat race. And this is how you're able to do that. Okay, you guys paying attention? Now let's watch. Add up all your savings. Add up all your debt. Savings minus, no, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Do you have a mortgage on your house? If you want to get out of the rat race, say to yourself right now, I'm not a homeowner, because you know it's not mathematically true. Once you accept to say, I'm not a homeowner, that's the first step out of the rat race. Once you say, hey, I believe in myself more, it don't take 30 years. It doesn't take 30 years to pay off one house. That's step one. It doesn't take 30 years of your life to pay off one house. That's not true. Who told you? Who's they? Who said that? Only people with mortgages encourage others to get them too. That's slaves. That's slavery. That's you putting yourself in slavery. 30 years of slavery? I ain't doing none of that. Imagine being a slave to the bank for 30 years. Owning nothing the whole entire time, owning nothing. Oh my God, that blows my mind when I even think about that. A bank owned me for 30 years? No, sir, ain't doing none of that. None of that. Any questions? Any people coming up? Because I get a lot of emails. And if you're a follower, and I'm not saying you have to. But sometimes you guys send me emails and send me cash apps and tell me what I did for you or what one of the videos did or whatever. It'd be cool if regular people hear that, because I think it encourages others instead of hearing me talk all the time. Okay. If you want to, if you want to, you can. If not, it's not a big deal. But I do want people to come up here, tell their story. Maybe they have a story. Maybe they want to ask me about their story, whatever. If not, we're going to be on here about an hour max, okay? Hour maximum. Any questions? Gabriel says, will owning rent and utilities be considered debts? No. Nope, because you don't own them. You're renting them. We don't own our power bill. We don't own our water. We don't own it. We're renting. So nothing's, slaves like to confuse things that debt versus things that keep you alive, right? If I don't have housing and I live in a very cold state, I guess I'd be dead, What's going on? Is this Cosmic?
Also known as Amina's campaign manager. Yes.
I see. What's going on?
I got a question for you, LJ. Because I'm planning leaving the rat race when it makes sense for me, right? So I've been tracking my monthly expenses to get a good grasp of what I need to cover, because I'm already low debt. Like my living
Your ass could have
expenses
left
was
years
like
ago.
2000,
Years ago.
it's
But
like
go ahead.
20. Yeah, but I like what I do. I'm having fun
I
out
know.
here. I mean,
I
I'm
know. I
on
know.
it, and my living expenses now is like $2,000 a month, right? So when I'm looking at my monthly expenses, I'm just curious how you went through that thought process of getting out of the will yourself.
Um, it was pretty much, I don't know. When I got out of debt, that's when it really, for me personally, that's when it really kicked in. My time became more important. And something just told me that I just had to quit. Right? I didn't know why. I didn't, because had I not quit, I would have never known this type of freedom. It's this crazy and weirdest thing, right? And once I got out of debt, I remember you and I were talking about phantom income. I always think about phantom income now, right? Because you got all your stuff in order, but when you remember, you and I, we were talking about, we were adding up the true savings on some kind of credit card or something we were talking about, and you said you were
Oh,
going to go back and
yeah.
calculate that. Remember that?
Man, it's in the thousands. I started that
Right.
for this year, but it's in the
Your whole
thousands.
that's just one thing out of your life. Everything you got so much phantom income coming in, Cosmic. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Look, and
Hmm.
I started it, I pick it up and put it down. But
That's what
I'm
helped
just
me
in the
though.
back.
That's what helped me. That's what helped me get out of that rat race, Cosmic. That's what helped me. I started thinking about I'm debt free. Phantom income. Phantom income really just kicked in overdrive. I can't even stop. I can't even help but think about phantom income. And that's just basically the opposite of what everybody's doing financially. And you're good. It's just that
Yeah.
I know that feeling. Don't get me wrong. I understand the feeling, but the reward is it's 10 times better than that, Cosmic. 20 times.
Right. And I'll give a true disclosure of why I'm still working
Mhm.
because I don't feel like I'm on the rat wheel with my job because my monthly expenses are so low.
Mhm.
I'm looking at every paycheck as a way to fund my business of what I'll do
Right.
after the job. So it's like
Mhm.
my fundraiser sort of
Mhm.
machine right
Mhm.
now, right?
I
Until
totally understand.
that
I understand.
business is big enough for that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like how I look at my W 2. And I
Mhm.
think if people looked at their check as a way not to just pay bills, but use it as a way to grow something, and if you water that big enough, that could pay your bills. Maybe
Mhm.
that'll help the way people look at their jobs.
Mhm.
So, um, but I've been planning this for 10 years. Every
Mhm.
couple of months, I'll dust it off and just relook at it. Like, am I
So
still
tell me this.
spending
So
the
tell me
same
this. What
thing?
how
Things
much
like
do you
that.
think it's going to take? How much do you think it's going to take for you to pull the trigger? How much money is it going to take?
Well, if it was the money, I would have left by now, right?
What's keeping
But
you from
for
pulling the
me, it's
trigger?
not. Well, I'm trying to build a legacy. I want to leave my nieces and nephews cash generation passed off houses. I
Mhm.
also want to set up scholarship funds. So
Mhm.
it's not just me. I could have left a long time ago. It's bigger than, I want to do something bigger than me.
And
You know what
see,
I mean?
this is what I want to make sure the distinction is what I'm talking about, right? Because you're telling me about and it's understandable everything you're talking about, leaving money for generations, blah blah blah, right? I totally
Yeah.
understand, but my perspective, this is the only perspective I'm saying. I've never in my life owned the time in my life, never, ever. This is what I'm saying. I've
Yeah.
never ever owned the time of my life. I do now, and there is a gigantic, ginormous difference. That's all I'm saying. I'm not,
Oh,
and I'm not saying doing this will
I
stop your.
totally get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. And maybe for my job, because I don't have a start and end date for my job, I put people on my calendar. So guess what? If I don't want to meet with you at a certain time, I'm going to decline and give you dates which make sense to me. But not everybody has that option for their job. So for me, I have the best of both worlds where I can control the time, even what my company pays me, which allows me during the day to work on my other business too. So but I know that that's my unique situation because not everybody who has a job gets to control their calendar. I even reschedule meetings with my boss. Like, nope, meet you next week instead. Oh,
So I'm
hello?
sorry. I had my mic on mute. I had my mic on mute. What I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is math
Yeah,
and the time in your life. That's all. That's the only perspective I'm coming from. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
yeah.
that you cannot, it's impossible for you to feel what I'm trying to describe to you while having a job. You can't feel it.
And
That's all I'm
I
saying.
get that.
Okay.
I get that. I mean, my dad, he's never worked for anybody. He started his
Yeah.
first business at 9. So
Yeah. I
he's
remember
on
that.
all the time for the past 6 decades. So I have a
Mhm.
first row seat to that. You
Mhm.
know, all day long I had that. So,
I get it.
yeah. And I do like what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I just don't want to wait till that relationship sours. I just want to have an automatic, you know,
Honestly, right
thing
here,
out
just you
because I don't
see,
even.
you see what Kevin's saying right here, and I agree with that. Keep doing it until that voice tells you not to do it, because that's what's going to happen, Cosmic. I don't really know how to explain that part. It's going to let you know when it's time. Trust me, and you'll know. You'll know when it's
Right.
time for sure.
And the luxury that I have is I can walk away, will not drop my lifestyle from when I leave or not. Because like what Andre says, I track my money of what I spend for my monthly expenses,
Mhm.
and I like that to be low as possible. I want to keep 70-80% of my check,
Mhm.
right? So, not, it's okay to make more money. You just don't want your monthly expenses to rise. You want your monthly expenses to be as small as a percent of your income. And if you set that up, you'll have a different perception of your job because you wouldn't work at a job you didn't like,
Correct.
you know?
That's very true. That's very true.
So it gives so how I look at my job, it's is where I'm coming from and how I manage my money and how I look at it. It's just a tool to accomplish bigger things,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But
See
I was
me.
just curious.
Yeah, no, no problem. I like them to hear your perspective too, because I know they hear you, like people that want to do real estate, but they don't know you're doing it debt free, right? So they don't they
I'm
don't
doing it. I'm doing it with very little debt. Like
right,
the
right.
house I bought
They don't
last
know that
year, I
though, you
put
know?
25% down. Yeah,
Mhm.
25% down, and it the balance is under 39K.
Right,
The house
right.
I'm working on, I bought it with cash, doing a rehab's cash.
Mhm.
It'll be rented out on outright. So I'm on both sides. Like I own
Mhm.
homes and I own loans. I do
Yes. Yeah.
both.
Yeah. Exactly. And see, that's alien
um,
talk. So those of you guys in debt, don't try to understand what she just said. Okay, you're never gonna get it. All right. Own
and then
homes. They're
I
like
put
own homes and own loans. What are you talking about now?
then and then sometimes I'll own a home and put my own self in debt and give myself a loan.
Hmm. I know, right?
So things like
Right.
that. I'm putting myself in debt to myself,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
That makes
So
sense to me. Not for 85% of the population, but for the S&D family, yes.
but I was just curious as how you thought about your journey getting out of the rat race and what was your perspective. But I appreciate you sharing. I'm getting
You're
off
welcome.
so I can allow somebody else to get in.
Thank you, Cosmic, as always. I appreciate you. That's Cosmic. She's a part of the S&D family. Um, Lots of knowledge that she shares for free. All right. Anyway, like, let's get back to that rat wheel, right? It's so crazy because I didn't know, I didn't know I was making the wheel. I clearly, so crazy when you see that analogy, you clearly see the rat running, making the wheel turn. And I know in my brain, I'm the rat. I just didn't make the correlation. Wait a minute, that means I'm running, turning the wheel. It's just the craziest. Oh, it's just so crazy. It's so crazy. What's K Coach? He said, "What's up, brother? White people call Dave Ramsey crying about Crying about their debt. That's true. Black people with debt in this YouTube space argue with SMD. Dave and SMD are saying the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You're right. Dave, if it wasn't for Dave Ramsey, I wouldn't have known how to get out of debt. I'm gonna just put that right now. I wouldn't even put this way. If it wasn't for Dave Ramsey, I wouldn't even known I was in debt. I wouldn't even known I was. I'm sorry for shaking the screen. I keep noticing I'm doing that. I wouldn't even known I was in debt if it hadn't been for Dave Ramsey, man. And you know, so crazy, Kate. I don't really get that many people arguing. Every now and then, I'll get a comment from a video I did with Denzel Rodriguez, man. Somebody, hey, man, yeah, my coach, my velocity banking, it worked for me. It did this and that. Velocity banking is an illusion, people. I wish you guys stop writing me about that. Why do you keep writing me about velocity banking? You just want to prove to me that it works. No, it's an illusion. Oh, man, you guys need to stop doing that. Stop. If it works for you, stop coming over here telling me about it. I don't care. Well, why you want to tell me? I don't go to you guys' pages to, hey, man, velocity banking is bull crap. Well, I don't go. Why would I go over there? I already know it's bull crap. Why would I go over there and tell you? That doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, I love Dave Ramsey too, man. Love that dude, man. I hope one day he sees my videos, man. I really would love to be on this show. You know, I have to tone it down. Of course, it's a Christian whatever show, right? So I see them arguing with you on. Oh, well, you know what? They try. I don't really. This is what's crazy. Okay, so you guys can understand. If you disagree with what I'm saying, that means you're disagreeing with math. So me arguing with you would be stupid. Why would I argue with you? Why would I argue with you if you don't believe 1 + 1 = 2? I don't get it. Why would I argue? Hey, man, that's not true. And then you start arguing. No, I'm not going to argue with that. So I don't know. I think it's weird, man. I just think it's weird. They do a lot of yelling over there. They think when I'm on Ramil's channel, they do a lot of yelling, they think the yelling is going to change mathematics. It doesn't matter how much you yell. It doesn't. It doesn't matter if you feel angry about it. Does the math change after you get done being mad? No, then you got to just be quiet. What's up, Amina? Jay says velocity. Oh yeah, they're making big old money off of. Hey man, all you got to do is type in velocity banking on YouTube. You'll get about 1 million people teaching it. Why do you think 1 million people are teaching it? Because they're in debt. Velocity banking, it's basically a formula. Okay, listen. It's some kind of mathematical formula that's gonna get you out of debt faster by going in debt first, because velocity banking is based on borrowing money, right? So people that believe in velocity banking, they think they're gonna borrow their way out of debt faster. It makes absolutely no sense. None, zero, none. And this is the crazy part about it. I can prove everything I'm saying to a velocity banking person and they still won't believe it. They still won't believe it. It is crazy. It's like, and I kid you not, I swear to God, now this is my opinion. I swear to God, I bet you the banks are behind velocity banking. Guaranteed. Guaranteed they are behind velocity banking. Guaranteed. Hands down. Hands down. That is the most, man, so it's like this. They believe, since they couldn't get themselves out of debt by themselves, because that's where all the money comes from. Only the money, whatever money they get, can only come from them. They must go out and work it. They believe something outside of themselves is going to get them out of debt faster. So the bank is saying basically, here's a shovel, dig your way out of debt. Here, dig your way out of that hole. Here's a shovel. And we're going to sell it to you at an interest rate. Kevin says, hey, Amina. Oh, talking to Amina. K Coaching says, you don't argue. Your facial expression is all you guys, you know what? I've been hearing a lot of that. My facial expressions are everything. They be like, hey, L, man, you going to get on camera? Well, why? Your facial expressions, dude. Your facial expressions. Yellow J says, I asked Hyphy to start a book section in Discord. Okay. You can download Hoopla app and check out the Dave Ramsey audio book for free from linking local library electronic in the app. Okay. All right. Good information. What's up, NC Worker? El Marshall says, sometimes I get tired of listening to people on Ramil's channel, Slaves Plain. Yeah, that gets tiring. Okay, that does. And you got to remember, this is what keeps me from getting upset, because if they knew what they were saying wasn't mathematically true, they wouldn't be saying it. Right. So if they're verbalizing something that makes absolutely no mathematical sense, and they're verbalizing it out loud in public for the whole YouTube world can hear and hear them and see them, they don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're saying. They have no idea what they're saying. None, zero. Oh man, I'm beating the bank. The bank ain't getting paid. Or did you borrow the bank's money? Yeah, then they're getting you. Yes, they are. They're getting you. Yeah, because you need it. The reason why you're borrowing their money, because you have no money. They know that. You don't know that. When you walk into the bank and you ask to sign up for a subprime mortgage, you don't know you are broke. You don't know you don't have any money. How do I know that? You signed up for a subprime mortgage. That's how I know. Only slaves sign up for subprime mortgages, but you don't know that. Shout out to K Coaching for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Supporting your channel. Keep up the good work, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. Couldn't stop doing this. They'd be slaves explaining like crazy. The only way to get out of debt faster is work more and eat rice and beans. Sure is. That's the only way. The only way. Yeah, velocity banking is a bunch of they're so crazy. This is how you can tell it's full of crap. Type in velocity banking and you got about 50 million people teaching it. Why do you think that is? Because it's bull crap. It don't mean anything. It's now when I say, okay, listen, when I say bull crap, those are my feelings. Okay. Don't get involved in, don't take my feelings and apply it to the velocity banking business. Okay. That's different. That's different, because I respect the velocity banking business because they're not doing anything to anybody. All you got to do is do the math yourself, and you will clearly see none of that makes any sense. None of it. It doesn't make any sense. But if you choose not to trust mathematics, you're getting yourself involved in a business. That's a business. They're making money too. Velocity banking people are making money. That's business. Me personally, I couldn't do people like that, but that's my feelings. They're not doing it. Velocity banking is not illegal. They're not tricking anybody. They're not fooling anybody. It's not the system itself. Now, I don't know about the people charging to learn it or teach you. I don't know about that part. What's up, Jay? Shout out to Jay for the $5 super chat. Yeah, folks on Ramil channel, make sure I make sure I take my blood pressure meds. Exactly. That's crazy. I only can take so much. Okay, but I like Ramil the way he controls his channel, though. He lets people speak their mind, but if they get too far out, he'll control it, and he does it without even muting them too. Okay, so I like it. I'm glad it's under his control, though. Jay says, yeah, the banks have to be behind it. Too ingenious a way to get money from them. Not to oh yeah, they're definitely, with my opinion, I think they're behind it because it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Imagine, put it this way. Imagine how many people actually try that believe that they can get out of debt by velocity banking. And then when they start borrowing some money, they realize they messed up. Now it's too late. You signed up for new loans. You own it. They're going to go deeper in debt. Believe that. Imagine how many people were trying velocity banking before 2020 hit. Ooh, I could only imagine when they get here. They are doing velocity banking, and then they lose their job. Ooh, I feel sorry for them. What up, Lord Vel? What's going on? Now, today's Q&A Sundays, you guys. Okay, this is about you. Okay, we're 40 minutes in, man. We're going to cut this off in 20 minutes if we don't get any more questions and stuff like that. Cosmic, exactly right. They're just creating another wheel. They're actually powering their wheel even faster. I believe it's only one wheel, and the speed is up to you. Okay, the speed of your wheel is up to you. If you're like the rat race, really running all the time, you're always in. Check it out. You're always in a rush. You're always behind. You're always late 5 minutes. You're rushing to work. You're rushing home, and then you got to rush to get dinner. You're in the rat race. Your wheel is spinning really fast. That's why you're always in a rush. And if you're in a rush, time owns you. If you're always looking at the time, I got 5 minutes, got 4 minutes to get there. That means time owns you. You're in the rat race. Life's really not that fast. It doesn't have to be. My life is not that fast. It doesn't. It's that like I'm walking everywhere I go. I'm never in a rush, ever. Never late. Never. El Marshall says, right, you right, LJ, on the Velocity Bank. It's nothing new. The secret behind banking, only the debt-free can see. Exactly. But the banks are not doing anything to anybody. The only difference between slaves and the banks trust mathematics, slaves don't. That's it. There's nothing. The financial system is not for anybody or against anybody. The financial system favors those who trust mathematics and doesn't favor who don't. That's it. There's nothing big. Andre says, no forbearance on lines of credit. Sure ain't. No, sir. Good luck. Mama Max, what's going on? If you're going to be in the rat race, then you need to have a purpose. Make sure you take your money and murder your debt. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's what you got to do. You got to have a purpose. If you're in that rat race working, Donovan Wood, what's up? $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. The banks are constantly moving the cheese. They sure do. Slaves don't even know the cheese doesn't even exist. Hey, slaves, did you guys know the cheese doesn't exist? You notice you never get the cheese? You never get it. Every time you get to seem close, you get up close, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you blink your eyes further back because it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. I was telling this about. I'm gonna tell you one thing I said in the members only today. I'm gonna show you something so you guys can get it, so you can understand. I remember when I lived in the debt matrix, and I'll never forget this. I remember I was at a farm or something. I was somewhere where animals, right? But there was a whole bunch of cows there. All right. And I'm seeing these cows go through these gates, some going this way, some going that way. I'm sure it's bad news for some. Maybe some are going to eat. Maybe some are going out to the pasture. But they had these gates. And then when they wanted the cows to go a certain direction, they just moved the gate over here. So like a train track. So a train will go into a other lane. Same thing with gates, right? And I remember saying to myself, I said, what if we're like this? And I'm in debt. So I don't know where this question came from. But I said, what if that happens to us? What if we're cows, right? So now imagine an aerial view over a cow farm with gates directing them to go different places, right? Now take the same aerial view over a freeway. Now imagine the freeway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday afternoon. Imagine the freeway. See all those cars? Every person in them are cows. Now, when it's time to open the expressway, they open a gate, and then all the cows go that way. Now, if you want to get off, you got a ramp to get off. Same thing. It's crazy. Everybody's there because they think they have to be there. No, they don't. They're there because they're slaves. That's why they're there. Nobody would voluntarily go into traffic to work and twice a day. Every day for 5 days, twice a day. Nobody would voluntarily do that. Only slaves do that. There is no difference between the aerial view of a cow. You can physically see that those are cows, though. You could see, but then you see over here, you see cars, but there are cows inside of the cars. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. It's sometimes when you cross over to this side, your eyes got to open up slowly. They have to open up slowly, okay? Because you're going to be pissed. Andre says the way to get out of debt, you got to work. That's the only way to get out of debt. The only way. Mama Max is so true. Living life with a purpose is key, whether you are debt free or not. Debt just makes your vision hazy because you are more likely to be in survival mode. Sure is. Exactly right. Now, are there any questions? We got about 15 minutes. Okay. If something pops up, great, we'll do it. But I'm trying to hear some new people, I'm sure since we're talking about velocity banking, I'm gonna get some comments later on from some velocity bankers. Oh man, if you slaves knew what velocity banking did for you guys, man, you guys would be so mad. You would be so mad at yourself. This is if you're okay, put it this way. If you're a velocity banker, okay, add up all your savings and add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. That's your real money. Okay. That's going to be a deep negative. So if you do velocity banking by getting another loan so you can pay off another loan because of the interest rate. So if you had, say like this, and we're going to keep the numbers low. Say like you had $40,000 in debt and you go get a $10,000 loan so you could beat the interest on some other loan over here, right? It's still the same thing. You're just going further in debt. You're going like $60,000 in debt to get out of the hole. That you can't borrow your way out of debt. It doesn't make any mathematical sense. Andre said, I helped write a program in the late 90s for a Fortune 1000 company, which had velocity banking built in as well. Didn't save them from declining revenues. Built in. Whoo, you guys have no idea the world I live in today. It's certain things are hard to listen to. It's hard to watch. Woo, when you get on social media, man, I have to block people talking about financial information. You guys have no idea how many slaves are giving financial information on Facebook. You guys have no idea, not a clue, because you're going by their cars, the way they're dressed. That might get a nice photo picture and a nice suit and smile and haircut. That doesn't mean anything. That's a look. That's just so you will have faith in them. Hey, they look the part. That doesn't mean anything. Leroy says, I don't have any debt. I just want to get that FU money. Okay, you want to say, all you got to do is save your money. You don't really need anything if you're out of debt, just stack your checks, man. You don't need to do something. I mean, but this is what I say, Leroy. The first thing I want you to think about, what is it that you would love to do that it wouldn't feel like work? Whatever that is, before you just step out there and say, hey, man, I want to get some money. This is what I want you to do because you're debt free and you have this option. What is it in your life that you would love to be doing that wouldn't feel like work? Okay. When you guys see me on the mic doing this every Sunday, this doesn't feel like work to me. I don't feel like I'm working. I absolutely love what I'm doing. I absolutely love helping people. I'm changing. This is how I know this is my gift. I'm changing people's lives forever. I'm changing people's lives forever. Ever. I'm walking around in the financial world and I can see things that millions of people cannot see. Millions. It doesn't matter if they believe me or not. That doesn't matter. I don't listen to slaves. I don't even see you. I only see you when I need to see you. Because believe this. Slaves are vital to the economy. Let me say this one more time. The economy would not exist if it wasn't for slaves. It wouldn't exist. None of this would work. None of it would work. And so you guys understand the system. I love it. This system is absolutely hands down brilliant. This system was a thought. This was a thought in somebody's head. That's how I think about it now. Now that I'm out of the slave area, and I get over here, and you see the true system. I think to myself, somebody thought of this. Oh yeah, this is generations of thought, generations. I promise you, it's generations. Me, people like, hey, L, you coming out here saying this, and you're talking this, and you thinking that. No, I could probably start something, but you look at me as here's an analogy. When you hear me talk about what it sounds like, I'm against the system, but I'm not. It's just I trust mathematics. But when you say, well, when you talk about it, everybody was going to know, and then it's going to change. No, it's like, say like you're in the woods and you see a bee come up on you, and it looks like it's about to land on you and sting you. Would you run from your life? Even if it stung you, would you think you're going to die? Would you think no, you'd be like, oh, bee, and then kill it, right? But if you bump the nest and it attacks you, you would feel for your life. I'm the bee to the system. Okay, I'm just a bee. I'm just one bee by myself. I mean, SMD, let's say, okay, we're a few bees. Okay, you still wouldn't scare one person. Okay, a person would know that it would get away from that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not. Somebody invented this system. It's amazing. Leroy says, how many bank accounts should one have in your opinion, LJ? That I don't know. It all counts on what you're doing. I mean, okay, a minimum of two. Okay, I'm gonna just say a minimum of two: a personal account and a business account. I'm gonna say a minimum of two. Let's put it that way. Mama Max says, what is that? Velocity banking? No, velocity banking. So just type that in. You can type that on YouTube, and you'll get 1 million people popping up. Okay. Andre says you don't need a bank account at all. Yeah. See, Andre. See what I'm saying? Andre will throw out some next level alien talk. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means personally. I don't know. You don't need a bank account. Aaron says, do you think Kevin Samuels finances his stuff? I have no idea. The only way I would ever know that, I would have to talk to Kevin Samuels himself. That's the only way I'll know that. Well, I can listen to him talk and I would know. I can, for example, if I go to his channel and listen to him speak about money, I would know I would know how to translate what he's saying, because I promise you this. I promise you. And I'm not saying I know anything about his finances. Okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying when you're in debt, you only speak a certain way about money. When you're not in debt, you speak a totally different way. Totally different. No exceptions. No exceptions. No, maybe this. I would do it this way. No exceptions. Screen Learning, what's going on, man? Slave Patrol is all over Facebook and Instagram. Sure is. They all over. They don't even know they're there. They don't even know slaves don't even know they exist. I mean, they know they're alive. They know they're walking around and eating and playing at the parks and taking vacations. As long as they get back to the plantation and get back to work, that's all. Long as they stay remaining, hey, this is your only time off. As long as they always have to ask for their own time. Hey, can I take a day off for a doctor's appointment? Hey, can I take a day off to see my son's game? Hey, can I take a vacation on December 31st? Or is that all right, master? As long as you keep thinking that. Somebody else controls the time in your life. Andre says, if you understand what a bank is, you would be weary of leaving your money there. Somebody put up a spaceship, okay? And a picture of Andre in it, okay, inside the spaceship. Short-term treasury fund. Got to look that up. I'm going to look that up too. Jay says, on my last $2,855 of student loans. Okay, all right. Loans and $800 on a car should be done by April 21st. If I don't pay it all in January, I can't wait on all the money I'll get to stack up then. Congratulations, Jay. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. I mean, I mean that. Congratulations. For sure. Donovan Wood says the system probably got started with Rockefeller, CP Morgan. Probably so. And I want you guys to understand the system's not designed to be against anybody. The system is only designed to be against those who don't trust mathematics. That's it. That's totally it. Then it says, what do you think about using credit cards to your advantage? Just got off my first car for the $200 bonus. Obviously, math still applies. That only works if you're not in personal debt. Okay? If you're in debt, credit card rewards don't exist for you. You're not getting any bonus points. You're not getting any free miles. You're not getting any of that if you're in personal debt. All that stuff is a trick. That's an illusion. You're not getting anything. Okay? People in debt, only people in debt. If you're not in debt and you pay your card off every single month, all those bonuses do apply to you. They do apply to you. Okay? Andre with the alien. I know Andre with the alien speak. Hey, don't trust banks. Do a treasury fund bond executive order, president signed treasury bonds, triple bonds. That's the best way to do it. Then get some bonbon candies and then eat the bonbons while you buy bonds. Oh man, I tell you. Okay, no, that's no problem, man. You know what's so funny, Donovan? I always hear people, oh, the Rockefellers, the blah, blah, JP Morgan Chase. That, hey man, just don't worry about those kind of stories. If you're in debt, put it this way. If you're in debt, if you have student loan debt and your student loan debt is older than your children, don't worry about what the Rockefellers are doing or JP Morgan Chase. Don't worry about any of that. If somebody asks you, hey, how much debt are you in? And you don't know, don't worry about what the Rockefellers are doing. Don't even think about what they're doing. Don't think about what they started. Don't think about their family, why they got their advantage. Don't think about any of that stuff. Okay. That has no concern to you. None. All right. It's 57 minutes in. Any other questions? If not any other question, we're going to cut this off in an hour. So just so you know, we're going to start a new series. It's going to be called Dating Minus Debt. Okay. And the family members and I, we've been discussing how we're going to, how the format's going to be. It's still, we're gonna start it soon, and then we're just gonna grow it from there. But from my part of what I'm thinking dating minus debt is gonna help people. Like when you go out on dates, you can't really tell who has money, who's broke, because you only can go by their stuff, right? You only can go by their car, you only go by their house, go by their job. You can't really tell. Dating minus debt is going to help you sift through to see broke people. So you can really see what is, quote, a high value person, whatever the hell that means. You're going to be able to see whoever considered themselves a high value, you're going to be able to tell if they're a high value slave. Now, if they're a high value slave and they don't know they're a high value slave, that is not the person you want to be dating. Because when you get out of debt, you don't date slaves. It doesn't matter what they look like. It won't matter what they look like. It won't matter what area they live. It won't matter how bad their body is. It won't matter how good the sex is. It won't matter how big their house is. None of that will matter. They're slaves in a nice house, slaves driving a nice car, slaves at a high paid job. You can have a doctor slave, a slave lawyer. You can have all that. They're all slaves. It doesn't matter. This is what dating minus debt will give you the advantage. Man or woman, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't hate the player. Join the game. Become the bank. What's up, DTN? What's going on? How you doing? What's good, Unc? How you doing, man? I saw that picture of you and your son. That was cool. JP says, what would be the best way to get out of debt? You have to have a plan. Okay. That's what I do, JP. Now, if you want to come see me, you can go to SavingsMinusDebt.com and sign up for a consultation, and we can get started. You just need a plan. Okay. What I do is help people realize that they are in debt. And then I say, here's the plan to get out. Here you go. That's it. I got the blueprint for you. Jay says, thanks all trying to get those freedom papers and peace of mind. Congrats. Keep doing it, man. Your whole world is going to change. Your whole entire world is going to change. And then once you get out of debt, nobody will be able to financially fool you again, ever, no matter where they work or what they say, if they're good at the stocks or bonds, the stock market, all that. None of that will matter. None of it. Andre says, escape debt trap, escape income trap, escape tax trap, and then become the lender. That's all you got to do. See what Andre just said? That's all you got to do. You just got to get out of the debt trap, income trap, tax trap, and then become a lender. That's it. Yellow J says, I can't become a bank yet. I can't lend negative dollars. Exactly, Yellow J. That's step one, though. Step one. Kevin says, as soon as I pay my student loan off, I'm going to see you, Andre. Yep. That's the only way you're going to understand them. You can't come see Andre with 20 years old of student debt. That won't make sense. JP says, that's my weakness. I make more money, but I blow it. Yeah. But don't feel alone. Don't feel alone, because there's millions of people, and this is nothing against you, JP, but there are millions of people doing the exact same thing you're doing. Okay. Hey, you guys, please join the Discord server, because when Andre gets on there, thank you, Andre, for volunteering your time on there. These be good things. You don't want to miss this. I mean, when he comes on there and gives this type of information, but again, if you're in debt, you're really not going to understand what he's saying. Okay. You're not going to get it. So if you're in debt and don't care about being in debt and think you can use his principles while you're in debt, it's not going to work for you. Okay. You can't be in debt. That's step one. Okay. DTN says, you're right. My ex makes $45,000 with master's degree, but got a 60+ student loan debt. See what I'm saying? There's no way. You come across, and Mama Max brought this up, and I want to make sure I'm clear on this. All right. If you're a couple and one person wakes up, right, and says, whoa, I'm a slave, I'm gonna pay off my student loans, and then you're married or you're with somebody that has student loans too, and they ain't gonna do anything about it. And they say, oh man, I'm cool. I'm cool with having student loans my entire life. That's gonna be a problem. That's going to be a very big problem for you, because because you're going to know by a person saying that they accept being paying student loans their entire life. They're saying that they're accepting of being a slave their entire life. And you'll see your money, because if you're with that person, you'll see your money being thrown literally out the window. Literally. You're not going to be able to accept it. You're not. Thank you, Andre. And that not only Andre's advice, when you hear Cosmic up here giving advice about real estate, it's not going to work if you're in debt. I know you hear her saying what she's doing to, what she wants to have enough money for retirement or whatever, right? What you guys don't understand, she could have retired 10 years ago. You don't really understand that part. Her mental state is different than a slave's. Okay, it's different. Don't try to compare yourself and say, oh, she's doing and you're in debt with 20-year-old student loans. No, she's choosing to retire later. Could she retire now? Yes. When you're a slave, you can't. You don't have the option to say, oh, I'm retired now. You can't do that. Dave says, I'm going to become the lender after I trick the bank using their money. Exactly. Trick the bank. That's so funny when I hear people with velocity banking say that stuff. Oh, I'm gonna trick the bank. You're not tricking anybody. Would you walked in with a mask and signed the papers or something? You didn't use your ID when you got the loan? Who are you tricking? Dion says, hey, LJ, my student loan company went bankrupt and paid off all loan owner accounts. Hey, LJ, my student loan company went bankrupt. It must have been a private company. If it was a private company getting loans for a private, that's the only way that could ever happen right there, what you're saying. They must have been a private company. Because if you got federal student loans, that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't matter what happened to see, I knew it was private. Okay. So that makes sense. That makes total sense. Because if it was the other way, that would never happen. Yep, divorce them. You would have to. You would have to, Mama Max. You would have to. Like that, I can only put it this way. I can only imagine. And now this is good. This is going to be tough. Okay. I want you guys to, I keep shaking that thing. This is going to be tough. If you are romantically in love with someone right now and you wake up and you're the person that you love, you could have children by them. You wake up and you see that you're a slave and you're doing what it takes to get out and your partner is not, you're probably not going to make it. I'm not saying, I'm saying sit down with them and say, hey, check this out. I mean, show them, not just say, hey, you ain't paying this off. You got to sit down and show them. But if they absolutely refuse this, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to get out of debt. And guess what they're going to think? They're not going to pay out their way out of debt. And guess what they think when you pay off your debt? They're going to think you have more money to pay for their debt. That's what's going to happen. Oh, you ain't got no debt. You can help pay mine. And they're not paying theirs off. No, you're not. And then they start talking, hey, we need to get a house together. You're going to be like, together? No. Then they're going to notice that you're not going to want to tie any of your finances together. And then you're going to start hearing them speak debt all the time. But then you're just not going to be with them anymore. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you. Oops. DTN says, I knew I wasn't crazy when I didn't think like the Matrix slave. Exactly. Sure won't. Government controlled loans, student loans. That's the new slavery. You guys don't even get it. That's the new slavery. They can't physically enslave people, but they can enslave your mind. They can. And it's all volunteer. As long as you have the right private property, you can win. Yellow J says, I will stay married to my wife. Her debt was incurred because my own DTI, was reached, but I didn't wake up. Then because I knew I could afford more monthly payments. So stupid. Yeah, exactly. See, but see, you got to have two people. They have to understand. Tree says, I guess that's why it's so important to be equally yoked with your partner in every sense. Yeah. And this is what I say to the young people. Stay out of debt. And always, if you're considering becoming romantically involved with somebody in long term, check their credit report first. You're going to save yourself a whole lot of heartache. You know why? Because you're not going to seriously date anyone that's a slave. You're not. You most definitely won't have a baby by a slave. That will never happen. Man or woman, it doesn't matter. You won't have a baby by a slave because you will never legally tie yourself to a slave. And that's what a child does. It will legally tie you to a slave. And you'll never do that. You'll never accidentally forget protection. You won't never actually say, oh, but it feels too good. That will never happen. That will never happen. AJ says, my ex-wife wasn't happy in our marriage when I decided to not be a slave anymore. We ended up divorcing. See what I'm saying? It won't work. Dennis says, I was about to get back with my ex until she told me about her student loans and how over half her money went to renting a luxury apartment. Yellow flags, I had to slow down. We have the same job. See what I'm saying? You will not be able to not think about that stuff. That's the first. Hey, you start to feel things getting serious. You're gonna be like, oh, yeah, about that debt. Hey, I'll show you my credit report if you show me yours. That's the only way we're gonna get continued, because you're gonna see the signs well before you even get to. Put it this way, you're gonna see the signs well before you get to the credit report. You're going to hear him talk about student loans, multiple credit cards, all the oh yeah, I'm just paying the minimum balance on all my credit cards. How many you got? Oh, I got 4 or 5. You know how, because they love to brag about their credit. Oh, my credit's good. I got about 4 or 5 with each with $10,000 limit. And you're making minimum payments on all of them at the same time. Yeah. I'm trying to keep my credit good. They don't know they say that. Jay says, I always thought 30 years to pay for something was a bad deal. Never sat right with me. Just going to save up, get some cheap land and a double wide and pay for it all at one time. Exactly. And you got to remember, Jay, you don't have to even go with a double wide. You can get a nice house. Just remember, tax liens, foreclosures. There's millions of people. Put it this way, Jay, so you can understand. If it wasn't for slaves, the housing market would crash. Let me put that one more time. If there wasn't mortgages for houses, the housing market wouldn't even exist. It wouldn't even exist. Those are all people that just believe they're homeowners. They don't even know they're not. They don't even know that they're not homeowners. That doesn't even count with people with first and second mortgages, subprime mortgages, you name it. Lines of credit on it, you name it. All of those houses are open when you have no debt. All of them. All of them are available. All of them. All you're doing is waiting for a divorce, breakup, job loss, company closed down. That stuff happens every day. Now imagine if you're debt free with cash in the bank. Imagine how many houses would be available to you starting right now into next year. Millions of people out of work. Millions. That means millions of people have no job to pay their mortgage payments. Andre says, I've been busy, but I'll make some time for the SMD family. Appreciate you, man. Yellow J says, she and I have woken together. Great, man. I mean that. And are changing our lives together. I am one of the lucky ones. Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are. I can't even imagine being a man in a relationship. You get with a woman and she expects you to buy. Now, I don't really do the man and woman thing. I'm just using it as an example, right? Somebody you're with that just doesn't mind credits as part of life. We're going to get big. We make more money. We'll get a bigger house with a bigger mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And you put your foot down and say no. And they say, screw that. And then they start opening up credit cards behind your back, start getting loans, and you're married. It's all tied together. DTN says, I honestly believe that's why a lot of people divorce, because of unrealistic living, like purchasing major debts from cars, too big mortgages. Then when one loses income, the marriage fails. Sure does, because they blame the other one. JP says, would you buy a house using a mortgage or rent? It counts on the situation. And there's different ways to buy. I strongly suggest you get on the Discord server and ask. I don't know what Andre's topic is going to be, but you can ask that same question to those guys that understand it a little bit better. They can explain it to you, the difference between the two. Okay. DTN says, Jay, I agree. 30 years of mortgage it never sat right with me ever. And I signed up for 2 mortgages. You have to sequester your wealth first. Okay. Kevin says, Dave Ramsey stated the majority of divorces are over money problems, aka debt. It's debt. It's not even money. It's debt. People will say money and debt in the same sentence when they're not even the same thing. Debt is not money. Oh, it's over money. It's over debt. Why are you saying money and debt at the same time like they're the same thing? They're not the same thing. I mean, it says so many marriages end because of money. What happened to the richer for poor power vow? I know, right? Or is it till debt do us part? Exactly. It's till debt. They don't know that. They don't know it's not death. It's debt. I think people are mistaking the word death when they really mean debt. I mean, is it till debt do you part? Don't realize exactly. Jay says, I think the 30-year mortgage was created to make people stuck, literally stuck in bad marriages, jobs, and financial situations because of slave debt. No, it's called the American dream, but slaves don't understand you must be asleep to dream. I mean, they're not hiding anything. Hey, live the American dream. All you got to do is stop and say, wait a minute. If it's a dream, that must mean I must be asleep. Yeah, you're asleep. Because if you believe you're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage, you are asleep. That's a dream. If you go get a 30-year mortgage on a house because you don't have the money to buy it in cash, so you need a mortgage, and then you go buy with a mortgage, and then you walk out with the keys from the bank, you get the keys from the bank, and then you walk outside the bank and call yourself a homeowner, you are asleep. Because you couldn't get the house without the bank's money. You walked into the bank, signed some papers, a whole thick stack of papers with no lawyer, and then you walk out of the bank and call yourself a homeowner. That's why you're asleep. You know that's not mathematically true. You're asleep. Andre says legal marriage is a legal commitment. It has nothing to do with feelings. Nothing. But try to tell that to somebody. They won't. Reality Game Design says, hey, LJ, cut my hair. Okay, moving. Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha now. Moving out of my family's home and going through the process of getting a federal job, making $82,000 a year immediately. Okay. I will have the ability to be debt free in a year. Congratulations. And I'm glad you cut your hair, man. Just do what you need to do to be free to do what you want to do right now. I'm going to say that one more time. Do what you need to do in order to be free to do what you want to do. Grow your hair, smoke weed, do whatever you want. No, when you're free, there are no drug tests. You don't need to take a drug test. Why? You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's legal in your state, what they still taking marijuana drug tests for? It's legal. What are you doing? See? Yellow J says, how sad is it that I'm looking forward to renting and most think I'm crazy and don't get it? It's not sad to me. Because this is the problem, Yellow J. People with mortgages don't believe they're renting. And it's not even a problem. They don't realize, check this out, Yellow J. They don't realize you are going to be doing the same thing. They're renting from the bank. You're going to have a landlord or manager or whatever. It doesn't matter. Some company, whatever, right? They don't know they're renting from the bank. Crazy. Sure are. Kevin Jones says, I'm not against legal marriage or autumn trees. As a matter of fact, you're talking to autumn. Okay, you guys are on the marriage thing. My three sons that still live with us are 22, 20, 16. They can't understand why we're selling the house of 19 years. My 22 is slowly starting to understand. He'll get it. He'll get it. Shout out to Michael Rambo. Smoke your weed, man. Ain't people, it's legal, right? Yeah. Then what are you shushing about? It's like people told it. I mean, people are too old now. People don't realize alcohol was once illegal. Alcohol was illegal once, right? It's the same thing. Smoke your weed. It's like, this is what you look like this. I remember when I was young, right? They always say, hey, man, weed's a gateway drug, blah, blah, blah. But then at the same time, this is what I used to think. I've never heard anybody overdosing on weed. Why is it bad? Do people kill themselves over? Do they? No, it doesn't do anything. Then why is it illegal? Interesting. Doesn't make any sense, right? And now it's legal. You think they're ever going to legalize heroin or cocaine? That'll never happen. Ever. That's never going to happen. Thank you, Mike, for the $10 super chat, sir. Thank you, sir. Kevin says, but debt free, because if we both debt free, I can give her the world without being called a millionaire. Okay, you guys are talking about that. DTN says, Linnell, you stepping on toes, hurting feelings, telling people that their car, when that's not their car, when they leave the car lot. Exactly. It's not their car. I mean, it says, Mike, when are you doing an interview? I know Mike is. I don't think Mike got to work yourself up to it. FIC says, greeting LJ. Would it be better to take your money from your 401k or take a loan from it, given the current global system? Take it, not a loan. You take that money. Right now, I know the president has signed like something that there's no 10% penalty. If I was working at a job right now, I would pull my money out of my 401k and pay off my debt because it's not there. This is all you got to do. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in your 401k. All right, let's do that one more time. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Yes, including your mortgage. Yes, including your student loans. Yes, including the collections. Yes, including tickets. Yes, including, and then go savings minus debt equals how much money you have in retirement. You tell me how much money you have in retirement. Kevin says it's actually more powerful high to eat foods with marijuana in it. Yes, it is, for sure. Most definitely. Hello, Talisha Black. Isn't a mortgage just a lower form of rent? No level. It's just rent. It's no different. It's like this, Talisha. Put it this way. Slaves, I'm trying to say this systematically so you can understand. Slaves need a mortgage to buy a house because they don't have the money to buy the house. As soon as they sign 30-year papers, they magically believe in their head now they own the equity in a house that they don't even own. It doesn't even make any sense. Why would they believe that they're not renting? I have no idea. It doesn't. I mean, I know why the banks do it, but it's just rent. So if you are renting from your, put it this way, so you guys get out there, so you don't feel bad when people come up to you and say, hey, you're throwing away money on rent. You ain't getting no equity in this and that. This is what I want you to say to yourself, okay? The next time a person says you're throwing away money on rent, you ask them, hey, do you have a mortgage? If they say yes, don't take any advice from them because they're renting from the bank and they don't even know it. They don't even know they're renting from the bank. They actually believe the equity in a house that they don't even own. They believe the equity is theirs. That makes absolutely no sense. None. Shout out to Donovan for $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. LJ, thank you for the TSP idea. On my way off the plantation. Congratulations, Donovan. I want you guys all to be free. All to be free. Make sure when you pull that money, make sure you pay your taxes. Okay, don't make sure whatever, if there's some, because there's going to be some taxes associated with that, don't mess around. You pay them taxes, you don't be late, you find out when to pay them, you pay them on time, you make sure they're all paid. Don't just grab the money and spend it all without paying your taxes. Don't do that. Make sure you pay your taxes, because right now, this time where you pulling your money out of your retirement without no 10% penalty, let me tell you guys something so you can understand this. That will never, ever happen again in the history of your life. Now, I'm not saying if the president is reelected and he says, okay, he's going to extend it to next year. That's not what I'm meaning. I'm saying once this is over, that 10% penalty, I guarantee you that will never, ever happen again in your lifetime, any of our lifetime. That won't happen for another 100 years. That will never happen again. I promise you. Better believe it. Edibles, they are delicious. And it did the job exactly. What's up, SS? How you doing? Kevin says, absolutely. Okay, autumn trees, talking autumn trees. All right. LJ and the family. What's up, James Sandman? What's going on, sir? Now I wasn't a I was when I was in high school, I believed all the hype on TV. Oh, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't do any drugs, I didn't do nah, man. My friends used to always, oh man, it'll hit this. I was like, nah, man, nah. But at the same time, I used to always think to myself, what? I've never heard anybody overdosing on marijuana. Why is it bad? I was thinking like that. Why is it illegal? It didn't make any sense. My personal view, this is my personal view. I don't know how we got on this topic, but this is my personal view of why marijuana, and this is my opinion, okay? Why marijuana was made illegal. It calms the conditioning of your mind. It calms the conditioning. Because you don't realize how strong the conditioning is. You don't even understand how strong it is. It's like a masterpiece. I can't really describe it. It's like it's undescribable. Is it undescribable? Indescribable? One of those, right? I can't describe it. So it calms the conditioning. It's not gonna just because you smoke it, it's not gonna make you smart. I know TV will make it seem like people that smoke weed are stupid or dumb or they're losers or just stupid nonsense like that. That's not true. Then that's not true. None of it that's true. That's not true. That's my 2 cents on that. But to pull the money without penalty it has the COVID-19 related. Yes, it has to be COVID-19 related. So make sure you check. Just don't go and pull it. You got to say, hey, does this, whatever you got to do to qualify for the COVID-19 related, and then you'll get the 10% penalty. Just don't go and do it. Okay. Taxes will be realized over 3 years. Yep, sure will. You will have to pay the taxes on 1/3 next year. And then when you file for, yes, okay. Because my sister's doing it. So she's paying the 3 parts. Tree's crazy because people with mortgages be looking down on people paying rent. Superiority complex is something exactly. But when you get out of debt, that will not affect you. Oh, you're renting, you ain't shit. Says who? You? The person with the mortgage? Oh, okay, whatever. Oh, LJ, you throwing your money away on rent. How long is your mortgage? How many times you refinance your house? Yeah, and you still believe you're a homeowner? I'm not telling. And they're check this out. You'll have somebody with a mortgage refinance their house several times and then tell you that you're throwing away your money on rent. That's slave-splaining. They have no idea what they're saying. Not a clue. Not a clue. Marijuana is not the gateway drug. It has been the gateway crime. Exactly. Crime is big business. Exactly. It's not no gateway drug. It's not. That's not true. None of that is true. That's not true. Kevin says, what people with mortgages don't realize that when you rent, you get utilities included and you have less liabilities if something breaks. None of that even matters, Kevin Jones. They're renting, period. It doesn't matter. The only thing when you're renting, just like you said, all your utilities and everything that breaks is fixed for free. Slaves don't know. They don't know that. What's up, Nick? Kevin says, but slaves with mortgages have to pay it for everything. Sure do. SS says they was taught different, totally different. Tree says it calms some people in a little too much. Yeah. It has many benefits. Let's just put it that way. It has many benefits. Many benefits. There's really no downsides of it. It really is really not. Half baked in the house. James Sandman says interest owners always trying to give advice. Sure is. They always trying to give advice all over Facebook. I'm gonna ask the mortgage owner that tells me I am throwing away money on rent. How much interest did you throw away this year on a 30-year, 30% on a 30% at most tax reduction? Exactly. They ain't gonna have the answer. They're not gonna have that answer. Slaves don't have that answer. Alicia says, hi, LJ. I recently disagreed with a velocity guru, and he told me to double down cash value life insurance. But Anybody that put it this way, Alicia, anybody that encouraged velocity banking, I wouldn't trust their financial advice. I just wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. So, Alicia, this is what I want you to, next time somebody gives you some velocity banking advice, this is what I want you to ask them. Are you in debt? Do you have, say like this, do you have a mortgage? Do you have student loans? Do you have credit card debt? If they say yes to any of those questions, you don't take financial advice from them. They don't know what they're talking about. That what they're saying makes absolutely no mathematical sense. Do something, use something else to, what is that? Disagree. Hold me down, double. I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what that means. I always consider the source. First of all, again, if they believe in velocity banking, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to a word they're saying. It's not people who teach velocity banking, they're not talking to me or people like me. Their audience is not me. Their target audience is not people who are debt free. They only target people in debt. That's why they're attracted to it. People in debt believe that there's another answer to them getting out of debt. So they're looking, it's got to be something. It can't be me. It's got to be something outside of me. So they attach to velocity banking. That's it. Nothing more. Screen Learning says, when I was a debt collector, the late payers believed personal debt equaled wealth. Sure did. They were programmed and trained to believe their area in the plantation was better than another's and freedom. Nope, sure ain't. Don't even know. All right, we're already an hour and a half over now. Now, if you want to jump up here and ask me a question, you can. If you want to get a consultation, SavingsMinusDebt.com. All right. There's the link. You don't have to get on camera. If let's see, if you want to email me, there's my email. But I got to make sure I keep telling you guys something, okay? None of this would work without slaves, okay? We need slaves. We need slaves. None of this would work without slaves. We need you, slaves. We need you. We need you. If you're coming in this channel right now, you don't believe a word I'm saying, you believe my math is wrong, we need you. You're very important to the economy. If you financed a car, a brand new car in 2020, in the worst economic disaster ever in history, we need you. If you bought a house with a subprime mortgage in the worst economic disaster in history, we need you. And you actually believe you're a homeowner, hey, we need you, man. We need you. What's up, Ramil? What's going on, man? I'm glad you could join, sir. Ramil be making about 50. How many videos you do now? You do about 10 a day now? You're about 10 videos a day, right? Andre says, I'll answer the life insurance question on Discord. Okay, cool. So I hope you, who was that? That was the woman, right? Okay, Alicia, if you can, there's a Discord link in the details of this video. I strongly suggest you join the Discord server and Andre can answer that question. That'll be great. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate it. FIC says, what is your take on whole life insurance and being your own bank from the cash value? I don't really talk about that kind of stuff. I strongly suggest to join the Discord server. Click the link in the details of the video, and there's other SMD family members that can answer those types of questions, okay? Cool. Most people don't understand what life insurance is. I don't understand it enough to even be discussing it. So these guys, Andre most definitely does, Cosmic, all the other SMD family members, they know they will give you that advice from a debt-free perspective. I promise you, it's the advice you're looking for, okay? So again, Discord server, the link is in the description of this video. Click on the link, join. When you come over there, please let us know your YouTube name so we can know who you are. Like when you come on, hey, I just joined. My YouTube name is this. Okay, that'll help us out a lot to know who we're talking to. All right, cool. Okay, he's talking about next year. Okay. Nah, I'm messing with you, man. I know that. Nah, I appreciate you, man. Andre, Ramil is most definitely an alien for sure. For sure. Okay, cool. Thank you, Andre. Give people time to prepare. That's true. Most don't understand life insurance. I don't know enough to talk about it. I'm only focused in on myself right now anyway. So Kevin Jones says there will never be a society where 100% are debt free. However, Dave Ramsey has an excellent explanation as to if more people became debt free over time, everyone should check it out. Let's put it this way. I like the system. I don't want it to change. It's cool. Leave it just the way it is because it's all a choice. What if everybody became debt free, the system would collapse. That would hurt everybody. Rich, poor, rich, broke, middle class, everybody would suffer. Everybody. So that ever happening will never happen. That will never happen. 100% of the population becoming debt free. The majority of the population don't even understand debt free even exists. They don't even know debt free even exists. They think you have to become rich to become debt free. That's what slaves believe. That's just his prediction. No, first of all, again, going over there and just looking at it, that's just his envision in his head. But in reality, that will never happen, ever. That will never happen. So it's just a thought in somebody's head. If I'm gonna go over there and check it out, okay, what's Dave Ramsey? How's Dave Ramsey? What's his envision when he thinks 100% debt-free society? Oh, okay, all right, whatever. Will it ever happen? No, it'll never happen. And again, without Dave Ramsey, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys talking on this mic. SMD wouldn't have been created. Everything that I had to put into work. But if it wasn't for Dave Ramsey, I wouldn't have known about becoming debt free. It would have never happened. I would have never meet people like this, Andre, Cosmic. They would never talk to me. I would be a slave. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I appreciate it all. Thank you for another successful Q&A Sunday. Great questions. Again, join the Discord server. All the links are in the description. You got my Cash App down there. You want a consultation, SavingsMinusDebt.com. All right. What else? Debt is a tool. No feelings required. Exactly. Yeah. Again, even more people. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It can't happen. Yeah, nothing would work. And if that happened, I wouldn't be able to remain free. As long as there are people in debt, I get to remain free. Okay, but if you're in debt, you don't understand that because you don't really understand phantom income. Even if I mentioned phantom income, you wouldn't understand. It's only phantom to those in debt. It's phantom to those who don't believe in mathematics. If you believe in math, you will clearly see phantom income. You'll see it. You'll be like, oh, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming on, participating. Appreciate you all. I'm going to get off. Got some things to do. All right. Until next time. All right. I'll let you later. Bye.